Hi everyone, welcome back to DaryaCrochetLife. In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to knit an adorable hat with cute ears that look like cat or fox ears. We'll be knitting the baby size together, but I've also created a detailed written pattern for 3 sizes: baby, kid, and adult, which you can purchase on my Ravelry page. The link is in the description box below. If you're enjoying my videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel so you never miss any of my new tutorials. Let's get started. Alright, here you can see all the materials and tools that we'll need for today's tutorial. First of all, let's talk about yarn. Today I'm gonna use one of my favorite yarn brands. It is Drops. This particular yarn is called Air. I like it because it's very affordable and it's a good content. So this one has 65% alpaca, 28% polyamide, and 7% wool. This is like a cord with some yarn inside, with some fibers inside. We are recommended to use 5mm knitting needles or US 8 knitting needles, and one ball has 50 grams and it is 150 meters or 164 yards. So if you ever wanna use different yarn, try to find something similar in terms of grams, meters, or yards. So try to find more or less the same amount of yards per grams, like this one. And I will work with 2 strands held together, so it will be a little bit thicker, like that. Even though I'm recommended to use 5mm knitting needles, I will not do that. I will use these needles. They are very old needles from my childhood, so I don't know the brand of them, but I know that they are 4.5mm knitting needles. They are circular needles. The length of the wire doesn't really matter in this case, because I will make the smallest size, like the baby size of this hat, so anything you have will work. Then we will need measuring tape. We will need scissors, we will need tapestry needle to weave in ends at the end of our work, and we will need several stitch markers. Okay, let's start knitting. Okay, so I'm gonna hold both of my needles together, and I will use a long tail cast on method because my needles are smaller than 5mm, so they are 4.5mm, so that's why I will hold both of them together. In this case, my cast on edge will not be super tight. It would be just right, and that's what we want. Okay, so I put 2 strands together and I will work like one. I'm leaving a long tail because I will use, as I said, long tail cast on method, and for the size that I'm gonna make, and I will make the smallest size, the baby size, I need to cast on 68 stitches. So first of all, let's make a slip stitch, then put both of your needles into the loop. Remember to place, this is my short end, this is my working yarn that goes to the ball, so short end should be in front, should lay on your thumb, and working yarn should be on your index finger, and you cast on, using a long tail cast on method, 68 stitches, or whatever your pattern is telling you to do. Okay, so I have 68 stitches casted on, so at the end I need to put this on the table, and I'm gonna make a simple knot with these 2 yarn ends. Okay, and then I need to very carefully take one needle out, so be very careful, don't drop all of your stitches. Okay, we are ready to start knitting. For all sizes, including my size as well. First 6 rows I will work in garter stitch, so I will knit all of my stitches. And because we are working in 2 strands, please be careful. So every time you do a stitch, make sure you're actually inserting your needle through both loops like this, and you're catching both of the yarn strands, and you pull in both of them. So if you notice that you miss one, please go back and redo it again. So in the first row you have to knit all of your stitches. We are going to work all of our stitches. I finished my first row. Now turn your work, and we need to work for 5 more rows. We will knit, so this is how we're gonna do our garter stitch pattern. But in this project we will slip our first stitch, and we will slip it as if to purl. So my working yarn is in front at the beginning, I'm not even touching it, and I will slip the first stitch from left needle to right, and I insert my right needle same way like I'm going to purl, but I'm just slipping it. Then, because I will knit, so I take my working yarn and I bring it in between 2 needles to the back of my work, and I can knit the second row. So let me show you one more time if you are an English knitter. So same idea, I start my work, I start my row, don't touch the working yarn, insert my right needle as if to purl, slip the stitch, then bring the working yarn to the back, and you will go between 2 needles, and then you just start knitting like normal. Okay, so, and in this manner I want you to work for 6 rows in total. Keep in mind that you have to slip the first stitch of every row. Okay, I finished my 6 rows of garter stitch, and because I was slipping the first stitch, that's why on each side I have this beautiful braid, like it's a nice edge. If you're not sure how many rows you made, it's very easy to figure it out. You can count ridges. So over here on this side I have 1, 2, 3 ridges, and then if I turn it over on the other side I have 1, 2, and 3 ridges as well. So that means 3 plus 3, I made 6 rows. But from now on, please keep track, use like row counter, or just write down some marks on a piece of paper after making each row. After that, we have to work in stockinette stitch pattern, which is 1 row you're supposed to knit, 1 row you're supposed to purl. The first row would be exactly the same like we just did, so we are going to knit all our stitches. And for my size, I will work in total, this part, I will work for 12 rows. All right, I finished my first row of stockinette stitch, turning my work. Now I have to purl. So I will slip the first stitch same way as if to purl. And because I'm gonna purl, so I will leave the working yarn in front, so I will hold it like this for continental style, or like that for English style. And I will do the whole row of purl stitches except for the last one. The very last stitch of every row I will knit. And in this case, you are going to slip your first stitch in every row exactly the same way. So right now, work all row purl, except for the last stitch that you are gonna knit. Okay, so at the end of this purl row, I'm finishing my purl stitches, and the last stitch I will knit. Then I turn my work, and I will slip the first stitch as if to purl, and will knit next row. So keep working in this manner for, if you're doing my size, 12 rows in total. This is my row number 3, and I will see you after that. Okay, so I finished my 12 rows of stockinette stitch. So that's how it looks like. If you don't know how to count your rows, if by any chance you just lost your piece of paper with the tally marks, so let me show you how do I count my rows for stockinette stitch. I just stretch a little bit down my garter stitch pattern, and over here I can see the last row of bumps, and right under them I see my first V, and then I count each V to the top. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. So this is my new stitch. I don't count it as one row. Okay, so and then in total I want to show you that for my size, for the baby size, that should be 7.5 centimeters. Yeah, 3 inches. 3 inches, 7.5 centimeters over here. Then you need to take your stitch markers, and we are gonna place stitch markers like that. So 24 stitches over here, 24 stitches over there. So we are actually doing like 3 main parts: 24 stitches, 24 stitches, and then it should be 18 stitches in the middle part. And here we just marking 1 stitch. You see, I'm putting my marker in between 2 stitches. That's where we're gonna do our ear. So this is gonna be the central stitch for the ear. And that's exactly what we're gonna do now. So after you place your markers, your pattern will tell you where to do so in each for each size. Okay, we will keep slipping the first stitch as if to purl, same way like we did before. And now I want you to knit to the first marker. I come to the first marker. Now I need to do make 1 left. So I will use this piece of yarn that is between 2 stitches. With my right needle, I'm going from the back and picking up that piece of yarn, and then my left needle is going from front through the front leg like this. And then guess what, we can start doing our knit stitch right away. So if you are working continental way, so you can do that. Same way if your yarn is here and you're doing it English style, same idea. So then you just pull it through, and then you will have a stitch that is leaning to the left. Then you need to slip marker from one needle to another. Just move it from one needle to another. Knit 1 stitch, slip marker from one needle to another, and now we will do make 1 right. So this time my right needle is going from front, and I will pick the same piece of yarn but from front and put it on the left needle like that. So then I need to work through the front loop, so I will just pull it a little bit more so it will be easier to go as if to knit, and then I just knit it. Same way if you work like continental or English, doesn't really matter. So now I made my make 1 right, and it's leaning to the right. Then you just knit to the next marker. You see, we did increase on both sides of this center ear stitch. So now we need to do the same thing for the second ear. When you come to the marker, you do make 1 left, slip the marker, knit 1 stitch, slip marker, and make one right. And then just knit to the end of this round. And we did the same thing. We did increase on both sides of the middle central stitch. Then you turn your work, you slip the first stitch as of the purl, and you purl the whole row to the end. So nothing is going on the purl side. And for my size, I need to repeat these 2 rows when I am doing increase next to the markers for my ears. And next row, this one that I'm doing right now, the purl row, for my size, I need to repeat it 6 more times. So in total, I will do 7 increase rows, and 7 times I will go back. I will purl 7 times back. So 7 increase rows, and in every increase row I add 4 more stitches. So in total I add 28 stitches, and I will have 68 plus 28 stitches at the end of this section. When you come to the marker, you just slip marker, you don't do anything with it, and you keep purling. Marker, you slip, and you purl to the end. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to have after making this last section. Each ear right now looks like this. And the next thing that we will do, we are going to decrease, to eliminate all these new increased stitches, and let me show you how I do that. So the first thing, we should start our row same way like we usually do, and then please stop 1 stitch before the marker. Okay, so I stop 1 stitch before the marker. Now we can take away markers, but I will just use this marker to, and I will install it over here on the central stitch, like that, 1 row below on the central stitch, just to show myself this stitch, because that's important for the ear. And this one I can get rid of for now. Okay, so next 3 stitches, this is my center stitch and 2 on the side. I need to work as central decrease, so C, D, D. That's how I will do it. I insert my right needle through both of these 2 stitches through front loop, like that, and I slip them from one needle to another needle. Then I knit next stitch, and then I will pull these 2 slip stitches over this knitted stitch. So I insert my left needle over both of them. So make sure that you grab all of your strands and you pull it over the knitted stitches. In this case, we have our central stitch, you see, the one that we marked, and that stitch is on top, and 2 other stitches kinda at the bottom. So we did our first decrease. Our goal is to do, your pattern will tell you exactly how many you need to do, but how we're gonna decrease again? We need to put this central stitch back to the left needle, and this stitch also back to the left needle, and we will do another central decrease. So I slip 2 of them from one needle to another, knit next one, and I will pull over these 2 over the knitted stitch, like that. So now I have 2 stitches. You see, 2 decreases. In total, for my size, I need to make 7 decreases for this ear. So I've done 2. Put it back and slip 1 more from the right needle to the left. Now these 2 I slip as if to knit, knit next stitch, and pull it over, both of them over the knitted stitch. You see, it's already start forming a little ear. Okay, so I will keep working like that until I'll do all of my 7 decreases. Okay, so that's how this ear looks like. Now I just when I finished my last decrease, I just don't slip stitches back. I keep knitting to 1 stitch before the next set of markers. Okay, here again, let's take this marker out and place it over the central stitch like that. So I will always see my central stitch, and we can get rid of that marker for now. And let's start doing our 7 decreases on this side. So because working yarn is there, I will just go through both stitches as if to knit, slip them, knit the next stitch, and just pull over these 2 slipped over the knitted. So that is my first decrease. Then I put it back 1 and put back another 1 and do another decrease. So when you finish all of your decreases, in my case that would be 7, you just knit to the end of this row. That's how my work looks right now. So this is the ear, this is the back of the ear and front of the ear. So now we need to work on the back of the hat. Okay, so we are on the wrong side right now. First we need to slip the first stitch, and then we are going to purl. For my size, I will purl 42 stitches. But pattern will tell you how many to do for other sizes. You should stop right before that central stitch. So if I look over there, remember we put markers so we can easily see our central stitch, and yeah, that's exactly where I stop. And next 2 stitches, you just purl 2 together. Same way like you purl 1, you just purl 2 of them together. Then we need to turn our work, and you will slip the first stitch, but this time we will slip it as if to knit, like that. And we will knit 18 stitches for my size. And you also have to stop right before that central stitch. Now we need to do SSK, so I slip the next stitch as if to knit, knit the next stitch, and I will pull this slipped stitch over the knitted stitch. And I will turn my work over. Okay, so from now on, I don't really need to count my stitches. Over here, I have a gap, so I will work to this gap. And right now, I need to slip my first stitch as if to purl, and I will purl 1 stitch before the gap. Okay, so here's my gap, and I stop 1 stitch before the gap. Now I need to work purl 2 together and turn my work. Slip your first stitch as if to knit, and now knit 1 stitch before the gap. Now I need to do SSK, so slip next stitch, knit next one, and pull this over. So I should work like this when I turn my work, purl to one stitch before the gap, purl two together, turn my work, knit to one stitch before the gap, and do SSK for 7 more times. So in total, on each side, I will eliminate, for my size, 9 stitches. Okay, so that's what you should have after doing that section. So you see at the back, it's just going down. We keep eliminating those side stitches. For you to know that everything is going properly, you need to count after you've done this section. Count how many stitches you have on each side. For my size, I'm supposed to have 15, so it's 15 over there, and it should be also 15 right after the gap, so right after this middle central stitch to the end, that should be 15. And then we start the new section. So now we will have 4 rows that we are going to repeat. Row number 1, you start like this. You slip the first stitch as if to purl, and then you will purl. The amount of stitches will be different every time. You need to stop 2 stitches before the gap. Okay, so I have 2 stitches before the gap, and let's just check that this stitch, the second one, is our middle stitch. Everything is great. So now let's leave the working yarn for now, because after that I have to do CDDP, which stands for central double decrease purl. So I have to work together. I have to purl 3 of the stitches together, and this middle one should be on top from the right side. I know it sounds complicated. So before doing the stitch, I have to do some manipulations. I have to change the position of the stitches. Okay, so first stitch, I have to slip from the left needle to the right, and I will go as if to knit like this, and then I'll do the same thing with the next stitch. Now I need to put both of them back, but this time, in order to change the position of these stitches, my left needle will go through this stitch first, through the second from this side, and I go through the front loop as well, like that. When you do that, please make sure that you grab all of your stitches and everything is, all of your strands, I mean, and everything is great. Okay, so, and the last step, insert your right needle through this situation here. It's actually, it's way easier to do than the previous one, plus 1 more, and do your purl like normal, like usual. And it doesn't matter if you are English or continental knitter, this purl won't be very complicated. So then you turn your work and you check that your central stitch is on top. Then second row of this new sequence that we're doing, you slip the first stitch as if to knit, and you knit to 2 stitches before the gap. Okay, so I'm 2 stitches before the gap. Again, the middle one is here, everything looking great. Now I will do just regular CDD, central double decrease. That's easy to do. So I go as if to knit through first 2 stitches, and I slip them from left needle to the right. Then I knit next stitch, and I will pull these 2 stitches that I slipped over the knitted one, like that. And again, my middle stitch is on top. So I did 3 together here, 3 together there. Now let's turn our work for row number 3. Row 3 in this sequence is easy. You just slip the first stitch as if to purl, and then you will purl to 1 stitch before the gap, like we did before. And then you just purl 2 together. Turn your work, and the last row in this sequence is knit 1, so you slip your stitch as if to knit, and you will knit to 1 stitch before the gap. And then you will do a SSK, slip one stitches of to knit, knit next one, and pull the slipped over the knitted one. So from now on, we eliminate one stitch on each side from this middle section as well. After that, you have to work in this sequence doing like 3 together, 3 together, 2 together, 2 together. So in total it takes 4 rows. So for my size, I need to repeat it 6 times, 6 more times, but then I will have one more stitch remaining, and I will do 3 together and 3 together again. But I believe other sizes you just end with 2 together and 2 together. So basically the idea is keep working and in this sequence until you get rid of all stitches on the sides, what you have right after the gap. And I'll see you after that. Okay, so that's how your bag should look like. You see it decreased a lot, so I have just 4 stitches left. And we can break the yarn. We don't need to leave super long end, but it should be still long enough for you to weave that in. And you see, that's what I did. I am on the right side right now, and I move my needle to the opposite side from the working yarn. So it used to be like that. So I finished like this, then I broke the yarn, and now I'm just moving my stitches to the other needle, like that. Then I will use this needle for picking up stitches, because we have to pick up stitches over there. Then we will work these 4 stitches and pick up stitches on the other side as well to do nice edging. Okay, so let's do that. Let's leave a little bit longer end. And because we were slipping the first stitch, we have this nice braid, you see? And I will use that braid for picking up my stitches. So I am not gonna touch the very first loop. I will work through the second one, like that. But let's find it over here. The very first one is there. This is my first stitch. Yeah, you see the knot in the first loop. So I go there. Then you need to create a loop like this, put it over this needle and pull it through like that. And then we have to, okay, I have a lot of yarn ends. Yeah, we will just use one next loop and we'll do a knit. If you work English style, it's exactly the same idea. So you go through the next loop and you knit that. Oh, you see, I splitted the yarn. Let's not split it. Okay, so let me show you English way. Working yarn should be on my right side. I insert it through the loop, yarn over and pull it through. Okay, so you work like that all up to these stitches that we already have on the needle. Okay, then you knit these 4 stitches that we already have on the needle. And we have to pick up the same amount of stitches like we did on this side. Same way we will do on the other side. Also go through the second loop of that extra stitch that we have. All right, so that's what you should have. Then I turn my work, and this time I am not gonna slip the first stitch, and I will work for 4 rows knitting all of my stitches. So I work in garter stitch pattern for 4 rows in total. And I am not, as I said, slipping the first stitch at all. Just knit all of your stitches. Okay, so I finished my 4 garter stitch rows. It looks like that. From the right side it looks like this. And now it's time to bind it off. So very easy classic bind off method where I knit first 2 stitches, try to work a little bit looser, and then you pull the first over the second one. Then you knit 1 more and you pull it the second over the first one again, and you keep working like that until you have just 1 stitch left, but don't fasten it off because we're gonna use it for making the ties. Okay, so I finished this edge. It looks like this. And now, as I said, please don't fasten it off because we are going to pick up stitches along this edge and we will do like a stripe for it's going to be our tie. So I want you to look to the right side, and over here we need to pick up 3 more stitches. So in total it will be 4 stitches. Try to find any loop that is going this way, so that is horizontal to this edge. Insert your needle through that loop and pull, do yarn over and pull it through. Okay, and then do it 2 more times. I think I'll use this one and that one. So, oops. In this case, I have this a little, like several bumps, but they are on the wrong side, and on the right side it's nothing. And then you just turn your work and you will knit. Then you turn your work and you knit again, turn your work and you knit again. So you will work in your garter stitch until you reach your desired length. I think I will do maybe around 10 inches, but we'll see. Maybe I'll do less because it's a baby size. So just keep working, and then you have to bind off all of the stitches and pick up same way stitches over there for the second time. Basically it's the same idea, and then do the same amount of rows and also bind it off. So it's not that complicated. Okay, I will let you know how many rows I will make after I decide how many I want to make. Okay, so I feel like this should be enough. What I have right now is 8.5 inches or 21.5 centimeters long, and I have 28 ridges on one side and 28 on the other side. So now I will just bind it off the same way like I usually do. Okay, so then you can break the yarn. I am playing chicken, so this is all I have. So that's why I will just pull it through the loop, and that's it. And now I need to take another ball of yarn, and I will pick up stitches over there from the right side for the second tie. Okay, so now I have to pick up stitches along this edge, and it also should be 4 stitches. So let's just get anything that is, this is our right side, that is leaning to the right, and pick up our 4 stitches. Okay, and now I need to knit all of them for the same amount of rows like I did for the other piece. and I have 28 ridges on one side and 28 ridges on the other side. Then I will cast off all of these 4 stitches, and the last thing that I will need to do is to weave in all ends. So I'm going to show you that one. Okay, so that's what I have right now. So many yarn ends. So let me show you how do I hide them. So I'm gonna use tapestry needle, thread the yarn end through the tapestry needle, and it's better to do from the wrong side. You need to find any loop that is so close to the yarn end, and you just insert your needle under that loop and pull it through. Then you go and find another loop that is close to your new, like where the yarn end is going out now, and you insert your needle under that one and you pull it through. And you repeat it several more times. Don't work super tight because we want it to be as much invisible as possible. Yeah. You can change direction, you can go to the side as well, just a little bit. And I think that's enough because I went this way. So now I'll take scissors and I'll break the yarn. And I need to do the same thing with all other yarn ends. Thank you so much for knitting with me today. I hope you loved making this cute hat with ears. If you'd like to make the other sizes, you can purchase the written pattern on my Ravelry page. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more knitting and crochet tutorials. I'd also love to see your creations. Tag me on Instagram at DaryaCrochetLife so I can check them out. Happy knitting, and I'll see you in the next video.